5-minute fight in the streets used to be over when everybody walked away, but today's kids have access to social media that allows them to upload it and influence an entire community. Water rescue boats are out there right now actively searching for the teenager we saw floating down the river. He was screaming for somebody to help him.
Say we could get up to 6 inches of snow here in Mississippi. That's crazy. But let's look at their sons and they're saying, hey, I want to be a part of your life. And really, that's the whole premise of this breakfast.
User, good news. You've got an app this year. You're looking at it right now. For you. I'm 5'6", and the base of the tree that was uprooted is 3 times my size. The boat crews come out a couple of times a day, mostly for training, but it gets real when people are jumping off this pier over here because she was so upset about accidentally running over her 10-year-old daughter on this lake. We wanted to see how much art we could see in just a couple of hours. We begin here at 4:20 at our Graham studio.
How did you make it shop so bad?
That's where we met Isaac Johnson and his family. How many pieces of art have you seen?
I don't know. A lot.
When we first were going to bring them, I thought it would be overwhelming or we'd only be here briefly. We can't even drag them away.
It's easy to see why. Art is hanging from ceilings, posted on sidewalks, and disguised around taverns.
One day at a time.
We even found some artists still at work. This is cool. Is it frustrating trying to see all of them and not getting the opportunity?
It's part of life, isn't it? You just got to do it.
And we did, climbing stairs, dipping off into almost hidden restaurants, and riding a freight elevator is half the fun. 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 106. We've seen 106 already. So what's the trick to squeezing all this art into a little time?
We went to the exhibition centers, and they're housed more now in these places so you can see a lot more.
And you said your trick is to
walk fast.
Now, after 3 hours out on the town, we saw about 150 pieces of art. I even made myself a new friend here. But regardless, 150 pieces of art really does sound like a lot. But if you think about it, it's only a tenth of the total amount of art you can see out here. So if you're trying to get out and see as much as possible, I'd recommend spreading it out over a couple of days. Brian, this is a letter the school district sent home to parents last week. In it, they claim to have began contact with law enforcement 6 weeks after Craig Sanford left the district. However, we got a hold of his personnel file today and uncovered that's not the whole story. The memos date back to October 2010. That's the first record of Saranac School District wanting to get rid of Craig Sanford. He was on medical leave at the time. No talk of a sexual relationship with the student, but the superintendent at the time wrote, "We have been able to keep knowledge of this very quiet and would like to continue to do so. But why keep it quiet?" We took that question straight to the woman who wrote it, former Superintendent Jeanette Adams. In the personnel file, it has some things that I wanted to follow up with you on, like why you insisted on keeping this quiet.
Before you shoot that question.
Adams' husband insisted we put the camera down, but she told us the only comment she'd make is that the current superintendent has already issued a statement. Just weeks after the Keep It Quiet memo, the board unanimously approved a separation agreement with Sanford, even paying him the remainder of his contract. Adams referenced rumors about Sanford in a memo, and then in December 2010, we started asking questions. She wrote, "Channel 8 is the only station or news outlet currently asking about this, but if they decide at any point that this really is a story and include it on the news, I'm sure others will be contacting me in force." Almost a year later, Sanford turned himself in on criminal charges. A judge ordered him to no longer make contact with the victim. But take a look at this letter we found from that 17-year-old girl to the judge. She wrote, "I am roughly 8 weeks pregnant with Craig Sanford's child. It is a higher risk pregnancy. I need to have contact with him." We also got a hold of 2 doctor's notes in the court file backing up her story. One of which read, "The patient would benefit from a physical contact with the father of the baby for emotional support." Now, the judge has denied that request, and as we've reported, Sanford was working as a substitute teacher when the charges surfaced. We contacted a lawyer about the school district's legal obligations to inform other districts of those allegations. He told us, under the law, Saranac Public Schools was not obligated to say anything to his potential employers. I'm Crystal Hilliard, Target 8.
Rick, very few details are coming out of the Battle Creek Police Department tonight, but we sat down with the two people that were with the victim as he took his last breaths and the man who heard the gunshots and called 911.
Saying, baby, you can do it, you can do it. I'm not going to leave you. Next thing I know, his eyes rolled and back his head. He let my hand go and I kissed him.
Ashley Ware's older brother was shot in the chest and died in her arms early this morning. Terrence Ware had just turned 27.
I said, baby, give me your car. And you heard shots, and he took off running. And I pulled down the street, hopped out the car, and ran back up the street. He landed on the ground.
The shooting happened here near the corner of Bowen and Howland. Neighbors tell us a lot of young people were out last night hanging out and partying in the area.
Gunshots rang out, and I looked out the window, and I heard some hollering out here. So then I seen somebody laying over there, like I said, on the sidewalk.
Another man was also shot out here. Both were brought to Bronson Hospital, which, as standard procedure, put it on lockdown for fear of retaliation and crowd control.
There's a lot of bad guys out here, and he wasn't one of them. He came and checked on me every day.
Ware leaves behind 3 children. This is TJ, his youngest, right here. Tonight, Terrence's family says they know who killed him. They say it's the same man who shot his sister in a nightclub last year.
The police know who did it. Yeah, they know who done it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The police know who done it, and he know who did it. How am I supposed to feel holding this man, and he dying, and he's slipping away, and I can't do nothing. Nothing. I feel helpless.
Again, not a lot of information coming out of the Battle Creek Police Department for us or the victim's family. Tonight they tell us they don't know where the car he was driving is, and they don't even know where his body is. Meanwhile, the other victim was transported to Kalamazoo's Bronson Hospital. No word on his condition tonight. In Battle Creek tonight, Crystal Hilliard, 24-Hour News 8. Tiana Walker's been uploading pictures to Twitter for nearly 2 years.
If I see something crazy going on in the car next to me or something, and I'll definitely take a picture of it so all my friends can have a laugh.
All of her friends can instantly access every picture posted from her Android phone or from her computer at home.
It's gonna go send to Twitter, and in a second.
Kelly Myers, or MoonLoon78, doesn't want her friends and family to miss a second.
It's just a lot of fun.
So she uploads pictures of her kid and other random things she sees from her BlackBerry.
But what if you were at your kid's playground taking an innocent, candid photo here?
And someone on the other side of the cyber universe could pull up exactly where that photo was taken and within seconds find you.
If you have sensitive things in the photo, pictures of your kids or your home or your kid's school, for example, then that information is out there as soon as you send it out.
Daniel Estrada legally pulls information from photos for a living. Information the photographer may not even know is there.
Most of the smartphones today have GPS capabilities, so they have a little GPS transmitter that can read the location coordinates from GPS satellites and put those coordinates into pictures that you take or tweets that you send through your phone.
It's a little bit creepy.
Most of the time, I don't want people knowing where I'm at.
After a few days of playing with her phone, Myers noticed the setting and figured out how to turn her GPS tracking off.
Nope, there's nothing in there.
If you don't want your location found through Twitter or Craigslist, you can turn off the GPS on your smartphone or digital camera. It's as simple as going into the settings and sliding the GPS locator or store location setting off. We tried it. I took 2 pictures, this one with the GPS locator still on, in less than a minute using a program he downloaded for free on the internet.
Sanchez is right there.
This showed exactly where I took that picture pretty much.
That's right. Yep.
But once I slid my store location option off and took this picture,
I can see the make and the model of the phone that it was taken with and date stamp and stuff like that, but there isn't any GPS information in it.
You just upload a picture, just to share it with your friends. You really don't think about, okay, well, somebody could see this and, they'll know that I'm here.
Her Android came with the GPS feature turned off, and she says she'll keep it that way. Crystal Hilliard, Target 8.